Let's just start out just like that. We haven't even started the podcast.
A little laughter right off the bat.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? You gotta. Sometimes you just gotta do that. All right. So it's been a couple weeks. Had a few situations going on, and thank you for holding in and holding out and waiting for a new episode. Want to give a special shout out to all the Patreon subscribers. And they are the ones that truly support the show the most, and our sponsors, and everyone that listens and spreads the word. Thanks to all. I got that good news today. I don't know if you saw that. Like Spotify released some of their statistics. And
the
stuff.
yearly stats. Yeah,
and the show did pretty good in Spotify. It's hard to say, right? Because all the other ones, they. Like Apple and stuff only show you downloads, not actual listens.
Right.
But then on Spotify, it was like in the top 5% of the most shared.
I mean, I feel like I love the demographics of it all. It's like a little bit of encouragement, and then the downside is that you get knowing that there's no residual benefits at all. It's strictly a pat on the back and cool graphics.
Yeah. You're doing a good job for us. Thank you.
Most listened to.
All right.
Least paid.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if you are interested in helping the show financially, since Spotify does not, I'm just playing.
But what's the whole deal with
Spotify next month is going to be like, yeah, you're down fucking 82%.
Yeah, because the only one listening is people that work for them, probably.
Yeah. But if you want to financially support the show, go check us out at patreon.com/bigtruth. There's 4 different levels of patronage there, I guess, for a lack of a better word, and they all come with their own benefits. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, before we even get into the episode, make sure you listen afterwards, because there's going to be some special live performance by Lenny just for you guys. So that'll be on there, but that's just for the Patreon subscribers. So if you want to hear that, you got to go over to patreon.com/bigtruth. Big shout out to Old Bike Barn over at oldbikebahn.com. They sell parts, they sell riding gear, they sell their own line of like handcrafted knives and leather objects,
leather stuff.
Check them out. That's under the White Knuckler brand.
They sell freaking leather.
Yeah, they got what is it? What's that going on right now? The BDSM teddy bears.
No, I didn't know that. Teddy bears is going on?
There's some weird, like Italian high fashion house. And they just got in trouble because
I did see that.
Like, these like kids holding these teddy bears.
Oh, you know they're in trouble if Kim Kardashian's calling them out. You know they're in trouble.
It's all downhill. But yeah, no. Who doesn't do that? Old Bike Barn doesn't do that. They'll sell you a knife. They'll sell you some parts for your old Japanese motorcycle.
Maybe a
Harley,
cod piece.
Everything in between. They'll sell you a leather loincloth under the White Knuckler brand. Whatever you want. And well, they might not have that on the site, but hit them up and tell them you heard it on there and you really are looking for like a Conan the Barbarian-esque type loincloth, and they might make one special for you.
The bicep things.
Oh, yeah. Or like, you tell them you want like a 8-row studded wristband and be super metal. But yeah, and if you have issues with sleeping, you got a little bit of insomnia, or you're stressed out, or you got a lot of aches and pains from the gym or running around or work or whatever, you need to check out Crater Lake Clear over at craterlakeclear.com. They have the most cleanest, most righteous CBD oils out there. Don't go buy some bullshit at the local bodega that you don't know where it's from or what's in it. These dudes, you go to their website and they run you through the whole process of how they have the most cleanest CBD out there. If you happen to be in the unfortunate situation where you find yourself in a motorcycle accident, you need to check out Law Tigers over at lawtigers.com. Yes, or go to the Facebook and type in Law Tigers and your city or your state, and you get in touch with their local office. It's a motorcycle law firm founded by riders for riders, and it's strictly for motorcycle-related accidents. So check them out. I hope you never. That's the one sponsor I hope you never have to use. But if you need that, it's in your back pocket. Some fucking assholes texting and fucking jerking off and eating a fucking donut and doing 30 other things besides concentrating on driving. Shifts into your lane, bangs you up. Fucking bring the fangs of the law tiger
Maybe
down
they'll bring that
upon their throat.
Maybe they'll bring that big old blow up thing that they have. It's like a 30-foot tall tiger head.
Yeah. I'm sure they got that in whatever town you're in. So check them out, lawtigers.com. Go to Facebook and type in Law Tigers in your state, and you'll get in touch with their local office. It's been so long since I've done this. It's not been so long, but it's been a few weeks. So I used to have all these commercials right off the top of my head. Well, we're still doing it right off the top.
You got good memory. I got nothing on the top of my head.
Yeah. If you falls here, you're going to start layering up a little bit. So check out Omerta Mia over at omertamia.com. Omerta, the most real lifestyle brand there is out there. I don't even need to say much about them. Just go check them out. If you need a hoodie, you need a shirt, you need a long sleeve, scarves, whatever you need.
Beanies, they got good beanies.
Good beanies. Lenny's new record, socks, all that shit.
That won't keep you warm. The record won't keep you warm, unless you burn that shit.
But you can get it there. So Omerta Mia it's Omerta, but Omerta Mia, if you know the whole lineage. They got those prints that give the whole definition of everything if you're not familiar. But check them out, omertamia.com. Use the promo code BigTruth at checkout, get 20% off your order there. Also, if you use the promo code BigTruth at Cradle Lake Clear, you'll get 20% off your order there, 20 or 30%. I know it's a fucking significant percentage. And while you're at it, if you're looking for more clothes, but you're on the little weirder side of things. Like,
I was wondering what word was going to come out.
I don't know where I'm going. Whenever I do these commercials for Heavy, I just think of Zach listening and like shaking his head. You know what I mean? So I'm like, if you like to spin Aleister Crowley records backwards while you're reading the Necronomicon and you're fucking riding your chopper around, tripping on LSD, you know what I mean? You're going to be into Heavy over at heavy.bigcartel.com or Heavy Clothing on Instagram. You know what I mean? If you're into motorcycles, you're into punk rock, stone or doom metal, you're into psychedelic drugs, you're into cults, you're into the occult, you're into ritual sacrifice, anything like that. You like?
I mean, it feels like it was right up my alley 40 years ago.
Yeah. So just check them out. If you're a little off kilter, that's the word I was looking for earlier. A little off kilter, you will dig Heavy over at heavy.bigcartel.com.
Heavy.
If you are looking for information related to anything related to motorcycles, go check out Chop Cult over at chopcult.com, the biggest online information clearinghouse and message board set up specifically for motorcycle stuff, and it's all broken up by topic. So if you're looking on something specifically for shovelhead choppers, there'll be a forum just for that. If you're looking for British chopper stuff or British restoration stuff or knucklehead stuff, there's forums for everything. And they also have an online message. They have an online swap meet where you can buy, sell, and trade parts. They have a I leave this totally unfiltered. I don't cut out the ums and all the dumb shit.
That's good.
So these commercials go on way longer than they should.
That's all good. I feel like
everyone's like, this dude just stumbling through shit. I'm not reading a script. Like Lenny can attest. This is coming from the ether. I'm channeling it from, Zeta reticuli. It's coming through my pineal gland. I'm thinking of things in my brain. No. I'm just talking about whatever. But yeah, so they have, and they also have I like their events page because it shows you any motorcycle related event happening in the world, and it's broken up by dates, broken up by location.
Oh, that's the third eye, the pineal. Yeah, see, I'm not that dumb. I'm dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, dude, But yeah, so check them out over at chopcult.com and at all the social media simply at chopcult. Also check out my band Warren and Company, Pitchfork over at pitchforkny.com. They sell the gear that all your bands wear. All your favorite bands, they're wearing Pitchfork shit. So you should check them out, pitchforkny.com. Legends in the punk and hardcore and metal worlds, and also in the the streetwear brand stuff. And they also have a record label, and they release all kinds of 7-inches, all kinds of LPs they got going on. They did a New York hardcore compilation LP, and they were doing that back to school series on the 7-inches and stuff. So check them out, pitchforkny.com. I should probably shout out Chop Ahead. We're sitting in Chop Ahead Customs right now. All the benches are filled, all the bike lifts are filled. So we're on the fold out table today. We're not on the third lift. Well, actually we have 4 lifts, we have 5 lifts, but we're on the the fold out table that got melted. Something on fire on that table over there. So just don't put your water there. It'll fall through that.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's the glory hole table. But yeah, so check out Chophead over at chophead.com. But you don't have to come just on the website. And I got a gripe to pick. We did all these Black Friday specials and stuff, right? And I got so many orders, and I appreciate everyone that ordered, every one of you that ordered. But I get orders from like the next town. Why are you making me ship something to you? I'm going to just fucking drive it to your house because it's cheaper and less time consuming than me having to package shit up. Like, and I appreciate the Massachusetts motherfuckers repping. Like, 100%. I'm not coming down, but it's so bizarre to me that people order online. I mean, and I know sometimes maybe people work late or something, they can't get here, but we're open Saturdays. You know what I mean?
Especially,
like, why wouldn't you want to just come in? It's not. We're not a lifestyle company or brand or whatever. We're an actual physical brick and mortar.
Why give the money
motorcycle shop?
Why give the money to the post office? They just jacked everything up for the holidays, like $1 a piece or something.
It's crazy. Everything's going up. It's bananas. But yeah, so that said, we are a brick and mortar full service motorcycle shop. We can do anything you need, whether you just need an oil change or you need a full custom motorcycle built, anything in between that. We got a parts counter. We're hooked up with everybody. So if you need something, come in or give us a call. Or you can shoot us an email or whatever you want to do or buy something online. It's chophead.com, 13 County Road, East Freetown, Massachusetts. And just email chopheadcustoms@gmail.com. Or if you know my email, just email me there and I'll look it up, whatever you need. And last but not least, if you want to hear more episodes of the podcast to get more information on the podcast, you can go to bigtruthpodcast.com. Before we get into it, I really appreciate it if you share the show. Tell your friends. What was weird was on that Spotify stuff, they showed how people were sharing it. Like people were just I don't know how Spotify knows if you because you copied the link and text it to somebody. Yeah, because it was like 49% of the shares were through text. And
I mean, they got
in-depth fucking
statistics. their algorithm, their other level stuff. Like when I pull it up for the band, it's different shades of blue for every country in the world. I mean, they really go into...
Yeah, they were telling me how many people listen in all these countries. And here's the thing. So this isn't for everyone in the world. This is just for the Spotify listeners. But like, obviously, United States was number one for our listenership. Number two was a surprising one, Norway. So shout out to all my Nordic motherfuckers out there repping in fucking Norway. And 3 was Canada... No, 3 was Germany.
Germany's big.
And then 4 was Canada, and then 5 was Australia. So shout out to all my motherfuckers in those countries, because you guys are the top 5. On Spotify, on Apple, it's a little different. For a little while, my number 2 is India, which was
Spotify, really?
Yeah. No, on Apple.
Oh, on Apple.
On Apple. But anyway.
Shout out to that one kid in his mom's basement in Taunton.
Yeah, man. All right. So I feel like we already started the podcast, but we got to do the intro. We'll be back in 1 second.
The one kid in his mom's basement.
I'm not even shutting the mics off. We're talking through the intro.
Big Truth Podcast.
Except for like every kid we know that's in his mom's basement in Taunton is going to be like, me?
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
I feel so stupid. Like because you were here this whole time and we were already talking.
I love it.
Yeah. So, well, once again, we have liftoff. Thank you for tuning into the Big Truth Podcast. And I didn't introduce you yet, so some people might know who it is. They just think I got a new producer sitting in here with me, but it's not. It's my man Lenny Lashley, and he's here in the house over here at Chophead Custom Cycles. Lenny, what's going on, man?
Oh, same old shit, different day.
Is this your second or third appearance?
It's like third if you count the one where you blew everybody's heads off with dynamite and stuff like that.
Oh no,
that was a party.
That was at a party. That was at a Christmas party. But this is your second sit down. Yeah.
Second sit down.
Yeah. Christmas is coming. We're gonna
think about blowing people up again.
I don't know. We got too much shit in here to do a Christmas party in Chophead, I think. We might have to bring the Chophead Christmas party over to the Dipper.
Well, you got to, yeah. I mean, now
And then we'll have a Dipper Christmas party at the Dipper, or we'll do it at Chop.
No, have the dipper head.
Just fuck everyone up. So there was a little hiatus. If you're one of the people that skipped through the commercials, I don't blame you. I'm just saying it, but but if you are one of the people that skipped through the commercials, you might have heard me miss. Me and Packer bought my father's bar. It took a long time for everything to go through. Because just getting the liquor license transferred and everything. But then once it did, it was like mission critical on getting it up and running. So I've been working like a lot of 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. days. Didn't have time to do much with the podcast, but we got things under control. We've been open a week and a half, and we've gone through pretty much the whole rotation of staff, so everyone knows how to open and close and blah, blah, blah.
I thought you were going to say you went through the whole rotation of liquor that's stocked in the place or something.
Yeah, we've gone through, especially at the grand open, the first 2 nights, we went through a lot of liquor.
I would bet.
We've been open a week and a half. I've already put in multiple liquor orders with each distributor, so which is a good thing, right?
It is.
But yeah, so just shout out, if you happen to be in the New Bedford area, come down to the Dipper Cafe, 1367 Purchase Street. New Bedford.
Ask for a Narcan. Tell them Lenny sent you.
Yeah. And then we're open 11 to 2 a.m. with a 2 a.m. bar, so every day. So that's that. But yeah, so enough with that. But yeah, so thanks for everyone who's been patient, waiting for new episodes and stuff. We got a lot coming up, and then a lot coming up in the new year as well. So thank you for your patience for that. But yeah, so Lenny, back to you. What's up?
Hey. Not too much, man. I'm just always happy to come down and chat,
Yeah, man.
And it's been a bit since I've been in the place. I guess the last bike night was the last time I was here, right? Was still warm.
Still warmer, yeah. Your bike over there is a little bit. There's things missing.
Oh yeah. I do now. The seat pan is good. There's a whole bunch of things missing. Kind of. I don't got the glasses on.
Yeah, the pipes are off. The oil tanks are off.
That means, what does that mean? Chrome powder coating, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we're going to be in final assembly. Finally, yeah.
Final.
Yeah, everything, all fabs, everything's done, and we're going to start tearing it down. My man Shemp stepped in and has been helping me with that too, just because it's been so fucking busy, man.
Yeah,
so busy.
Well, I assume that the bar anyway. That has to be occupying so much time,
It's fucking nuts. But yeah, so 3 fucking full-time businesses now. Yeah. A good thing Packers with me.
Most people would fold the cards at one with one,
I'm too dumb to quit. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. And then plus the podcast and band stuff and dumb stuff.
Other extraneous activities.
Yes. But yeah, man. So since you've been here last, you had a new record just come out. Just dropped. What was it, last month?
It's been 2 weeks now, I guess, on a Friday. Yeah, and
well, it's technically last month. It's December, motherfucker.
Well, wow. Now we're splitting hairs. Well, we already got right down to splitting hairs, I guess.
Yeah, no, I know. But yeah, I mean, literally 2 weeks ago feels like
2 weeks ago
to me
in another month.
Yeah. but a month, 2 weeks feels like a month right now.
Last month. But we'll just settle for last month. It's fine.
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, you had a new record come out?
Yeah. Mick and See It, Omerta were gracious enough to help me put it out and get the manufacturing and some distro and all of that kind of. That took a while. I mean, the industry is slow to roll out short numbers of vinyl. If you're Britney Spears or something, maybe you can get things done on the quick, but.
It's crazy that there's still like a vinyl shortage. Not the shortage, but it's a vinyl backlog.
Yeah, I don't know how much I buy of it, bro, to be honest. I mean, I know that everybody gonna say it, but I'm a perceived scarcity believer, you know what I mean? I think they're doing it with the auto industry. They do it 10 years ago or 11 when that Illuminator record came out, I tried to prove that by going and buying my own gold edition records back and illustrate to people how the commodity situation works. If you take them off the market, then they increase in value. So I don't know.
So I think what Lenny's trying to say is he had a limited edition gold record, gold vinyl record, and he bought them all so that he could sell them on eBay at an inflated price.
Well, I mean, that's how it works. I know. I actually still have them. I sat on them. I got them.
I know. I remember you doing that too.
That was me and Andy. Me and Andy's great idea on our bone cruises and showing up at every Newbury Comics in the greater New England area, and they're like, "Oh no, these fucking Cheech and Chong is back."
Buying his own record.
We don't have any more of your records, jackass.
But I bet you charted highly on the Newbury Comics charts that week. No, but reality is what we're talking about is that there's been such a resurgence of vinyl, and that it used to be the realm of like the independent music industry was still doing vinyl and majors didn't care, but now all these major artists are doing vinyl, and it's fucking it up for all the people that kept it going through the dark times of it.
Yeah, and I think really because I got to tour the factory in Prague, a lot of the potential to do it in the U.S. has been hindered by EPA kind of stringent EPA kind of stuff. It's the same with a lot of industry, like vacuum tubes. That's why they're all made in China and Russia, because there's less scrutiny in the EPA department there. You don't tell Putin to not poison rivers. He doesn't really give a fuck. So
yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? Is everyone thinks like, oh, well, we're going to put in all these restrictions so that we can save the environment, not thinking 2 steps ahead that China is one of the biggest manufacturing countries in the world, and they don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, of course they. There's a river, I think, in China. I remember them talking about one river in China that for the existence of the planet, however long that is now, it can never sustain life in it at all, and that's based on their industry. They just, what are you going to do?
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? So don't think you're being do-gooders. You know what I mean? Because you're not. You're just pushing it away to where you can't see it. Right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
all it is.
That's the world, really. You know.
Oh, it's not happening here, so we did our job. You just killed American manufacturing.
Well, you feel good anyway. At least when the prince and the princess come over from England and shake babies' hands and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
They're over this week or something. And it's climate related or whatever, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Climate.
We're going down. We haven't skipped a beat, right? We're just going down these roads right away. So we were trying to talk about your record.
Oh, damn, yeah.
So it came out. Omerta helped you put that out. And for those that don't know, Mick over at Omerta used to run a record label called Dirty Mick. So he's got skin in the game in that industry and some chops in that industry.
Well, therein was the thought anyway, because we were doing a collab with a Gang of One collab T-shirt with Omerta, and I was searching for a place, and I just jokingly said to Mick, "Hey, you want to put out another record?" And he was, yeah. I said, "You want me to send you some songs?" And he said, "Nah, I don't really give a fuck about what it sounds like. If you want to put it out, I'll put it out." So
see, that's the best thing right there, right? Like that shows you the spirit of independent records, right?
Actually, there's some interesting theory on that too, because that was Zappa talked about the old days of the big record execs and the big money contracts. They didn't know. They just would throw, if an idea came along, let's give it a shot and see if it gets legs. And then afterwards, they figured we'd get smart college kids in that know. And
when you say idea, you mean band, or you mean like idea for a song or for a record?
Just to dump. In the old days, Zappa had this, it said that the old big stuffy record execs were guys that weren't really in touch with what they thought would be cool. So that enabled acts that maybe wouldn't have got by people that thought they knew what was up.
Oh, okay.
They would just toss money and say, hey, okay, well, let's see. I don't know. Maybe this fucking David Bowie guy will do something.
So there wasn't as many little like snotty gatekeepers.
Yeah, exactly. Or people that thought they knew. I mean, that's kind of weird in music anyway.
The crazy thing about the music industry is that most of the execs that thought they knew things are only looking for things that were successful at other labels.
Repeat, right.
Oh, they got one of these guys? All right,
rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And that works to a degree, selling, you know what I mean? But those are the guys that passed on the Beatles the very first time they had an opportunity to, probably, you know? So.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, we don't know what this is. But yeah, man, so What's it like putting out a record in 2022, 2023? Because you've been in the record industry for a long time. Obviously, CDs aren't really a factor that much anymore, right? It's just digital and vinyl.
I mean, we talked about it because the duration to get stuff made was taking so long. We talked about it on a level of, because it's still fairly cheap to make.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people have CD play. I mean, I have one in the car, a CD player, but not many people even have them, and they wind up as coasters or promo kind of material.
Yeah.
Didn't really make a lot of sense. Excuse me. But then again, with the slow in the vinyl production, I think I heard that CD sales have jumped like some incredible millions of dollars over the last couple of years anyway.
Really? Yeah.
In sales. So, yeah, I mean, it's weird putting out a record, it's a labor of love, just like you do with the shop here,
So no cassettes?
Yeah, that's a little too hipster for me. That's like
I still don't understand that. I was like, it was the shittiest of all formats. Like
8-tracks actually were probably because they'd flip in the middle of a song, right?
Yeah,
You'd have to.
I miss my Lincoln though, because I drive around listening to the 8-tracks. But yeah, of course. But I mean, out of the in our lifetime, 8-tracks were only they were bigger when we were young. But you know what I mean? Like cassettes have made such a resurgence, and it's still like bands are still putting cassettes out.
Yeah,
Who
I don't
the
know.
fuck wants to hear it?
I think
on a cassette?
that seems just like it's
It's not even cool for like the packaging wise, because everything's so small you can't see it. You know what I mean?
it's good. They used to be good to chop up lines on cassette cases. That's
There
it.
you go.
Well, I guess the CD ones were better when they came to that. They were a little wider.
Do a bigger line, yeah. But at least you can still read liner notes and stuff in a CD and whatnot. But
I mean, I feel
it
like
sounds better.
I'm old, so the art component to what was cool on a cover and what drew you to I can still envision that slow, long exposure picture of the Black Sabbath Paranoid record that was in my mom's collection. It was so visually impactful, or even, everything was like that back in the day. And the vinyl itself was just black vinyl with songs on it. You had to get in there and hear what it was. They all look the same. So
if it was a gatefold or something, you're like, oh shit, or something with like a booklet in it. I remember, I still remember holding like old Kiss records, whatever, you know what I mean, from back in the day, like.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and so if we were expounding on the artwork, the visual on this record really is, that the former folks that I was working with, that was the one positive that they gave me about it. The art looks great. So
yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that because we were kind of leading into that, but so why don't you talk about, say the title of the record, and then get into maybe a little bit how that it's definitely different, art wise and visual wise.
Yeah, for sure, because I think that I was blessed to have, when I was with Pirates, Zach Kaplan, who worked with them. He's a New Jersey kid and very great at conceptual kind of. He came up with those concepts that really tied into a thing with the gold foil and everything. Had a real unique look. This thing, I just had a morning coffee drive on and it's kind of, like you said, rolling through the ether or whatever. Something just popped in my head. I saw a few birds in a marsh and kind of said, oh, I thought my whole life that they were herons, or I didn't really have a good idea of what kind of animal they were. And then when I looked, of course, because I'm pretty stupid until I do the research, they were called Great Egrets or something instead of herons that I always called them.
Yeah.
And then, like I had said, I've been doing a little bit of this interviews. Mick was the first one to point out to me. He's like, he texted back when he saw the 5 Great Regrets.
Yeah.
Like I'm really not that fucking clever to come up with something that close.
Well, maybe subconsciously that's where you.
It'd have to be way deep in the subconscious.
See, I don't think you should split that out. You should just roll with like 5 Great Regrets.
Yeah. I have so many more than 5 actually.
Yeah. Well, it's the top 5.
5 is great to narrow it down to 5. Yeah.
But yeah, man, no, it was definitely a very interesting and cool visually, especially, you know what I mean? Like, so used to, like, I don't know, like, I don't feel like since things have gone more digital, I don't think there's been as much of a focus on the artwork.
Well, that was just, I mean, it was pretty fortunate because you want to talk about positives with social media and stuff like that. That's this guy, Louis Rossignol in Saco, Maine, that I had kind of been following because I liked that stuff visually, different artists, different things. And he just offered out of the blue. I was just starting to work on the record or something. It was really in its infancy, just the concept. And he approached me and I just loved his stuff and it kind of naturally took its place, you know, and I love when things like that's happened kind of serendipitously.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of shit like, and if you just believe, I don't know, it's such a dumb saying, but like trust in the process.
Yeah.
If you just like, all right, it'll happen. It does. It always, whatever you're working on, it comes together.
I mean, it's so hard to because I feel like I've always put this pressure or there's this kind of hidden need that really isn't a need, doesn't serve anything at all. When you can trust people and kind of utilize, I don't go in and tell a tattoo artist what color to put in a tattoo. I trust the people that tattoo me to know what they're doing. Same thing with motorcycles. That's how I got into riding, knowing that you knew what was up and I could trust you in your opinion.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you know, it's obviously you always get more out of it if you just kind of maybe give, you know, like, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for. Then let them, you're going to that person for art or whatever. Yeah, whether it's a tattoo or record design or album cover or whatever. And like people I work with, the graphic designers for different things, like Dan or something.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean, or John. And I'll be like, hey, you're looking for this, and 9 times out of 10, like you're working with the right people, like they just kind of nail it, or do it better than you imagined.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh fuck yeah, man, like you know, and
micromanaging it anyway. I mean, it's everybody does it to a degree, but pulling yourself out of it and being aware that other people that are trying to help are helping, you know?
Yeah. But that's always the balance though, right? Because like you know, with a record or a bike or something, you kind of have a vision for it.
No doubt.
And if something doesn't jive with the vision, it's not micromanaging, it's being like, I kind of wanted it to go more like, so that whole balance of that is like, you don't want to micromanage, but you also want to keep your vision going.
Of course.
But when someone just nails it, it's fucking awesome.
And the other real beneficial part about that is you, in regards to maybe like this record, recording some stuff where I had some kind of concrete ideas, the happy little accidents that kind of pop out from just letting it go. That's truly kind of magical shit when that goes on. You know, not having a kind of idea of where you want to wind up, but letting the road kind of wind and go wherever it goes, kind of thing. Chasing that muse is important in that process, I think. You know.
Yeah, is that something you did a little more on this record?
It just kind of unfolded. There was because this is the third record I've done with Pete in the Souls, and we've over 10 or 11 years become friends, and it's a trusting kind of thing, and he's really good at kind of giving me some confidence to stretch and do some stuff that I wouldn't be able to do, and he has enough respect for me that if I'm trying to chase an idea, he'll entertain it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and sometimes it works. Sometimes things that we didn't think were going to worked really, really good, you know.
Yeah. So it's Pete from Bouncing Souls. Was he engineering it and producing, or was it just
engineer and produce? Yeah, he has a studio, Little Eden, in Asbury Park. That's in Kate, the manager's of the band's basement where the band rehearses and everything for years. So he called me and got me off my ass really, and was like, hey, maybe it's time you want to do something else? Yeah, which is awesome, you know, because.
So is that how the record started? He called you and kind of prodded you into starting a record?
Yeah. I mean, he was like, he suggested, hey, don't you think it's maybe time to do something else? And really, I need that. I need people like that in my life, really, you know?
Yeah. Dude, how fucking convenient is that? You got a band with a practice space and a studio, right? A lot of people. Do they record there too?
They have. I know they have certainly demos and all of that. Because Pete, I think, did did produce one record that they did or something, but he's done a lot of recording in that room. He recorded Dave House. He's recorded The Explosion has done some stuff with a lot of bands that go to him. He's got great musical sensibility, and he's one of those guys that when you work with, he's not gonna go easy on you. You know what I mean? But he also he's so encouraging that he brings the best out of you to do stuff. You know,
which is what you need with in a producer.
It can be a weird thing. I mean, if you could ask any of the former Ramones what it was like to work with dude Phil Spector. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he broke out a pistol and shot through the room at one point or something.
Fucking. I wish I was older in the 70s where I could have like embraced all like the fucking foolishness and, and like wildness of it. You know what I mean? It's like, you think about how tame the world is now.
Yeah. I missed it by like 10 or 12 years, I think.
Me too.
I'd probably be dead by now though.
Yeah. Well, we'd definitely be older. If we weren't dead, we'd be closer to death.
I broke my hip.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So what was the process like? Pete called you, and then did you go there with, I guess, like, what was your writing process like for this record? And I know it might vary by song, like, but did you have like finished songs, or did you like have concepts and went there and kind of molded it?
There's sketches really. I try and do that to keep things fresh, and over the last few years, kind of diving into home recording and stuff like that has, just so I can navigate a little bit around capturing some audio, has kind of lent itself to, completing ideas a little bit more. Usually I'll if I pull up like a drum beat, a loop or something on Logic, and then I'll play some guitar until something maybe comes along.
Yeah.
And if it does, I do like a lot of people maybe remember McCartney talking about mumbling words around like it until something nonsensical, until it sounds like a word. And then I like to explore. I love that side of it. So with Pete, I had a bunch of stuff like that was kind of roughly sketched out. And he had a drummer down that lives down that way, Kid Sam Bay, that actually played a couple of tracks on both of the records, I think, that I'd done. No, McDermott played on the first one, but Sam played on a couple of tracks, the All a Welcome thing. And that was, we went down and kind of sat down and ran through arrangement-wise on an acoustic guitar. The three of us sat in a room, and Sam is such a good drummer that he just went up. I couldn't even really play the parts as well as he could play the drums to stuff that he didn't even know what was going on,
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, there goes, in so is that creative kind of stuff that goes along. He's such a good musician that why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? And it just kind of developed kind of real natural as then I had some time to sit and kind of develop the lyrics a little bit more and what I was feeling at whatever, because a lot of that is what I try to express,
Yeah. So because some people write music, some people write lyrics, some people like you do both. Is that typically your process? You'll get kind of the music down and the arrangement down first, and then write to that.
It seems easier for me that way because I can mumble some stuff that would be like a scratch track, and then thematically when something seems to come along and kind of get the creative juices as far as the writing stuff goes, then I usually am writing in from my own perspective. So that helps, but it's sometimes like the last track on the record, it's just kind of like a ballady piano kind of thing called Redeemers. That was a totally different thing that me and Pete and Sam had worked out. We had this foot stomping part in it. I had a whole different guitar arrangement that was to it, and it just was. When I started listening to rough mixes or something, I was like, this just isn't getting it, man. It's what you were looking at? Yeah, it wasn't really inspiring me lyrically or whatever. So I sent the drums alone, only the drums, to Nate Sander, the kid that has played keyboard with me in Darkbuster, and I knew through CJ Ramone and all of that. And Nate wrote this beautiful piano piece, not hearing any direction at all. And consequently kind of put it in as it sounded and went out and wrote the lyrics to it and the words in
Came like that.
yeah, in less than 15 minutes it was the song that it was. And Pete was like, what happened to the song that this isn't what we were working on.
Yeah.
But with great results, like we were saying, the happy accident kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah. And it's cool because, like, we have a lot of friends in the industry and stuff, and you hear about that, or just listen to podcasts. That seems like sometimes those are the coolest things, like things that just come together like that. Like you're struggling with this and you're working on it for hours and hours and hours, and all of a sudden one thing changes, and then it's like 2 minutes later the thing's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just opening another door, like we were talking about, giving somebody else a little that you love and trust a little room at it, and brings you down another road.
Yeah. So lyrically, what was kind of some of the themes or of this record, or not even just lyrically, but like musically and stuff like what?
I mean, both lyrically and musically, I think that the album is a lot different in subconsciously, maybe a little with some more modern pop influences or something. I don't know how to describe it. I know people that listen to my stuff over the years have been saying, well, it's different, but you can see that there's a growing process in the kind of writing side of things, you know?
Yeah.
Well, I hate to use the word maturity because I'm not fucking mature at all.
It's just evidence when we were trying to get through the sponsorship stuff.
I'm
earlier.
so totally immature.
Yeah. Well, that's beautiful.
But more reflective, maybe. You know what I mean? The older I get, I do get a little more reflective, and I really write for myself, really. I think that's important, to create for yourself first and not worry about how other people are going to conceive, what other people are going to take from it. Hopefully it's good. We all want that, you know, but...
Well, someone who's been listening to you for years, they've not in the same place either. Someone who was listening to Piss Poor Boys or fucking Darkbuster, like, if they've been along that whole ride, then hopefully they've, for lack of a better word, not matured, but they're more reflective.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? As so that this might resonate with them.
I mean, that's the beauty about it. It captures a moment. It captures a moment. There's some nostalgia. If I hear, because Christy McVie just passed away, I remember my mother buying me Fleetwood Mac Rumors and hating her for it for like Christmas or something.
Yeah.
And then, a few years later, listening to it, realizing, no, this is a good record. Like this is really cool. And I can still hear some of those songs off of that record, and it'll transport me back in time to that moment,
Yeah, I mean, I've it's not to sound like whatever, but I fully understand that, in that sometimes you're going to get something when it's meant for you. Like, there's been so many records through the years when I first heard it, I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then you go back later and I'm like, why the fuck did I think this sucks? It's the fucking best thing ever. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
And I don't know what changed in me or what changed in whatever or changed in the world, but some things maybe are just ahead of their time and then takes you a little while to catch up to it or what. But it's always crazy. And that's a beautiful thing. Like records that I slept on when I was a kid, and I'll listen to now, and I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best record I ever slept on. Like, why didn't I listen to it back then? And it's like, well, it's good to have some things to discover. Like when on an archaeological dig, right?
Yeah.
If they find a new site, they don't excavate the whole thing.
Right.
Because they know down the road there's going to be new methods and better methods and like new things going on. So
and
they
it builds a story too. You get the history of the story, unearthing a little bit at a time, probably. You know.
But this is kind of like the same way. It's like, all right, I remember this record, but I didn't touch it back then. But now I fucking enjoy it, and because there ain't a lot of new shit that I like. Like, you got to go back and find weird, obscure shit.
I mean, I find I hear differently now. I'm older or whatever. I hear, and I have a little more experience. Whether it's through the years of working with the Street Dogs and learning some stuff from John, or being in a studio situation, and all that, I'm a little more attuned to stuff. So even if it isn't something that hits me in the feels musically, I can find that I can appreciate something production wise, and it's a totally different thing that I never heard that. I never heard that before in the same song or whatever. If it's fucking Yellow Submarine, I'll be like, whoa, wait a minute, that part is there.
Yeah. I do. I can get like that too. Like there's music that I'm not really a huge fan of, but I'm a fan of the production of it or like the layers to it. And then listen to it and you're like, you uncover new layers that you didn't hear before. Then you can't unhear it. And you're like, how did I never hear that before?
I want to go down a dark path.
Okay.
I was listening to some stuff on the way down.
Okay.
And have you ever heard of this guy, Freddie Hubbard?
Yes.
You know who he is? He's a jazz guy.
Yeah, I know him as a jazz guy. I know the name, but I'm not like, if you ask me any song title, I
Well, this one, and you may help me because you are better with language and all that. Theranaughty. Do you know what that word means?
Let me see it.
It must be. See it there, like 11.
Threnody.
Threnody. Yeah. So it must be a musical term, I guess, like
Well, you're on your same machine that has the whole world's knowledge.
Yeah, but I don't want to forget this. When it came on, a different song.
I'm going to help you. I'm going to look up.
A different song came on randomly by him, and I remembered this song that I really love called
Threnody. A threnody is a wailing ode, song, hymn, or poem of mourning composed or performed as a memorial. Oh, wait, I have to.
It makes so much more sense now that you've given me the description.
Okay. All right. So, it went away. I hit the button for more, and then it's.
So now that we've had a little definition and a setup to this, and it also ties into what we were talking about, music being.
By the way, the next Lenny Lashley record is going to be called Threnody. Threnody for a.
I mean, jazz is a different realm, right? Because a lot of dudes were making jazz,
I'm
and
just
maybe
saying because now you're enthralled with it.
I love the word. But this one is called Freddie Hubbard. I love some stuff by some weird avant-garde kind of dudes. And this one is called Threnody for Sharon Tate. Every time I want to clear the room at the midway in between bands or whatever, this is my go-to. Let's see if we can just play a little for
for the record, I don't know if you saw my post earlier today. Oh, wait.
Give me love. Give me love, Wood. Give me love so that I can kill. Give me love because I can kill. She's unreal. The devil's
This sounds like the next American War Machine taped intro.
Well, it's so good, but because it's as psychotic as the times, right? I mean, it's a requiem for Sharon Tate, but it's coming from a truly psychotic kind of area. You know, it's scary.
I tried a new pre-workout at the gym today that's called Manson. Well, speaking of synchronicity,
I figured Manson was going to come into play sooner or later anyway.
I literally was fucking buzzing like a fucking meth head from 7:15 this morning till about noon. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Just if you haven't tried, if you go to the gym and you use pre-workouts, I don't get in. There's no endorsement from this. My boy Curry, who owns a company called Certified Nutrition down the road, dropped it off for me, and fucking good.
Got a good workout in.
Yeah. Did you see that tank I won? The gas tank I won over there with the Manson portrait on it from Tim over at Time Bomb Customs?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'll show you that later. It's a good one. The only auction or raffle I've ever won in my life, besides the
it was made for you.
Yeah, besides the bite where you got the tick bite where I got Lyme disease and that fucking
that's a nature
thrombosis or some fucking
nature's
weird
raffle.
Word. Yeah, I won nature's raffle. Motherfuckers. Nature's raffle.
Headaches and neck pain for the rest of your life.
I can't remember what the name.
You'll get sleepy too.
No, what was that? No, it wasn't regular Lyme. It was some other one. They're like, there's only 4,000 cases of this in the whole country. I'm like,
bingo,
great.
It's like Mega Millions.
I should I win that $2 billion fucking what a prize. But yeah, man.
I'm sorry for the sidetrack, folks.
No, this whole fucking podcast is a sidetrack, dude. There's not one question written down. But yeah, dude, I mean, I think listening, anyone I know that's a real, like, I'm not saying real, but everyone I know that's kind of involved in music doesn't just listen to the music, that type of music they create, right?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's why our road trips are always so fun, because you never know what the fucking craziness is going to come on next, right? Like, like
Charlie Boyd.
Yeah.
Look him up, folks. We're not gonna go down that road, but if you want to find a stellar Canadian artist,
he's on Spotify.
Oh boy.
What's our recommendation for that? Sperm Daddies?
No, it was a Bicycle Seat, I think was my
the
original one.
No, the original one was The one that we were all singing.
Oh,
along.
yeah, but that was the hook. But I mean, originally, years before, well, that's another me and Andy discovery.
Yeah. Sometimes you find the best things in the free demo
Yeah,
bins.
so don't steal this record.
But yeah, so should we do a Charlie Boyd contest now? I feel like
What are we going to do? Like a date with Charlie Boyd?
no. The first person to look that song up and send us the chorus,
Singing the chorus.
sending me a voice message
Of you singing the chorus.
of them singing the chorus, will receive a prize pack. Maybe I can get one of Lenny's new records.
I'll actually throw in something else if you can get 3 other friends of yours to sing along
You
with
get
you.
a whole chorus. Yeah. All right. So some motherfucker's gonna do this
good.
tomorrow morning. Well, we're recording this.
I probably know who it is already.
Yeah. All right. If you've been on a road trip with us, you're disqualified.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. Right?
Oh, that's good.
All right. So
Not you, Pat.
yeah. So Pat, you can't do it. But yeah, if you haven't been on a road trip with us and you're the first person to look up Charlie Boyd and sing us the chorus, you can because I think you can do that on Instagram, right? You can send voicemail messages on Instagram.
Should be able to send and not get flagged for that. Maybe you could do it on Twitter too.
No. Like no. I'm just saying how people could get it to me. I'm not giving my number. I'm just saying, yeah. If you direct message me on Instagram, my Instagram is just simply at Big Truth. You can send a voice text or a voice
They
message.
for sure can do that
Singing the chorus. You will
with 3 of your friends.
Just singing the chorus. You'll win a prize pack. If you get 3 of your friends, you're gonna get a premium prize.
Yeah, that's right. I like the word premium. I like how you did that.
Oh, do we want to do one of each?
Well, solo and
Yeah.
yeah, because maybe I can do something with the home recording later.
Yeah, and then and understand that if you send that to us, we have your explicit permission to use this on the next Lenny Lashley record, and you sign all rights away.
Or cancel you for singing it.
You should do a Charles Boyd.
I've thought of
Cover
it.
record.
I've thought of it for years and years. I think it'll be down the road. I still have a little more of Pete.
I think that one song. That's the one I said I can imagine you singing.
Pete,
I hear your voice singing that one.
years ago, and to bring it back towards the record.
Maybe wait, hold on, but just not to cut you off. Maybe that's one of the live Patreon exclusives we can do after this.
I mean,
All right, but we'll listen. We'll give it a listen. If you,
I will give it some thought.
yeah, all right. But go ahead. So what were you saying about Pete?
Well, on the first record, so I think I was coming up having some trouble with all the songs or whatever, and Joe Gittleman from the Bosstones was gracious enough to offer me a tune that kind of fell between the cracks of Bosstones material or Avoid One Thing material, and so I brought it up to Pete, and Pete was like, "Well, you probably have an original song." In other words, he was guiding it enough to say, "Well, you have enough stuff of your own before you're covering something else from somebody else," which I took to heart. It worked out well that way, and we did get a song that I wouldn't have had because I kind of was forced to do that, you know.
Yeah.
On this record, and still, it comes full circle. It was a song that I had been working on with Gittleman and Dickie from the Bosstones to maybe make a chance to get onto their last release. And I was down with Pete recording, and I texted Dick because I knew they were in the studio too with Tim and everything and doing. So I said, "Hey, I'm down here with Pete, just checking in, seeing how you guys are doing, whatever." And Dick texted me back, "Oh, things are going good. We narrowed down the field of the songs, and the one that we were working on together isn't going to make it." So I texted him immediately back and like, "Oh, so I can use it," you know?
Yeah.
Which was another happy little accident, you know? So
Are these Bob Ross things you're talking about with Happy Little Accidents?
I didn't even realize I was doing that.
Yeah, you said it like 4 times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's the title of.
Now I'm the Kool-Aid man.
You should just take all those songs from all your records that were Happy Little Accidents and put it on one record and call it Happy Little Accidents.
One happy accident.
But yeah, so yeah, man. Have you been doing much? I know you still have been, but like, what's like the concept? You've been going out by yourself and doing a lot of acoustic stuff. what's kind of like that been like, and what are you doing that currently? And
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that for years and years anyway,
Yeah,
and been.
you just did a big European tour. Like,
Yeah, it was. Well, I don't know how big it was, but it was It was 12 days anyway, and it was.
Didn't you do a few Norway dates?
Well, I did Sweden. So I was in Sweden for a week with a guy, Peter Lundqvist. It was the guy that started the whole.
I'm just wondering if you being out there is why I have a lot of listeners in Norway.
No, we didn't make it. No way. It's probably something else. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing that for years now. The acoustic thing. Actually, I was remembering how years ago the AF guys were nice enough to ask me to do that during changeovers at Club Lido years ago, and thinking how cool it was. First off, that they would ask me to do that at a hardcore show or whatever, and secondly, how fortunate I am to have folks in that are there to see that type of music that would actually pay attention to me playing the acoustic in between songs or whatever. You know, It's kind of strange little dynamic that something like that could happen. But then it's a matter of making things kind of economically viable too, and hopefully for the new record, I can kind of do a little bit of both.
Yeah,
I think I'd love to have the record be more represented like it is on the record if I could.
Yeah. No, I just I wonder what's been the reaction like. It's interesting because I've seen you do that in a variety of settings, like whether it's at a hardcore show or like I don't know like the show we saw you in Worcester, where it was all kind of it was like variety.
Oh yeah.
Or or like by yourself. Like
that was Ralph's, right?
Yeah, at Ralph's. But like, it's interesting to see a room full of like hardcore dudes or something like listening to, but like appreciating it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I think that's amazing, and I think that probably is testament to the old guard in the hardcore scene too, because I mean, a lot of those guys are guys that listened to a lot of stuff and because they found a way to express themselves, and that's what they would do, and didn't shut the door on whatever they were exposing themselves to either. You know what I mean? That's pretty important for art and culture and all of that. You know what I mean? I think it's, take a little from everybody, and that's street art. That's urban art at its best, right? Yeah,
absolutely, man. Like I said, like I like to perform certain types of music, not that whatever, but like, and I like to listen to different types of music for different things, but you got to listen to, I don't know, you get bored if you just listen to one thing all the time.
I mean, I think that what brought me to playing punk and what gravitated towards the punk scene and all that is I realized that it was within my capabilities to do, and then I quickly realized maybe not even in my capabilities to do, but because Van Halen was really fast and skilled at the time, and it was a different era in the 80s, where technical prowess. I knew I wasn't going to be a jazz guy. I mean, I got kicked out of Tri-Town Band because I couldn't read the music playing the flute, So I knew that wasn't where I wanted to be, And Johnny Ramone kind of made it attainable.
Yeah.
Oh, you can just do this, and it sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll try that. That's cool.
Yeah, man. Can you read music now?
I mean, I'd have to. I can barely read English now. I wouldn't cop because I'm not dyslexic. I always read above my level and everything when I was younger. But now, if I'm reading and I want to try and comprehend something, usually I'll listen to an audiobook and read along with it, and that's how I do. And the music,
that's interesting.
Reading music is still like on a basic level. Maybe I could say, "Oh yeah, that's an F, that's an A," or whatever on a scale, but. It gets pretty complex pretty quick.
Yeah, I can kind of read drums, but meaning like I know what the timing of the hits are on like a thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like I can't read them.
Oh, when they start looping together triplets and it's in every little, it's like like explanation points or whatever in grammar, but it all means something, and it can get real confusing. Like if you were to look at a symphony chart or whatever, that's bananas.
I'm laughing in the back, man, because I'm thinking like a week from today, I'm going to start getting voice messages on Instagram.
It's going to be great. It's going to be so cool.
I'll save them all. Oh, you know what? Fuck, I think the problem with fucking Instagram is that if you send a voice message, you can only listen to it once.
No, so you can send it, and then so just have them do it in video, record on their phone, and then when you send it, you can say that the person can play it more than once or something.
Oh, okay.
There's an option. I don't know if that's true with a voice, but we'd like to see your faces singing it, folks. Is what we're
If you send the video of you and three of your friends singing that, you'll get the ultimate prize.
We would love to associate you with said lyrics.
I still have some stuff from some sponsors, so I'll send you a big prize
On a
pack.
visual level, we want to tie.
If you work out a dance routine, a synchronized.
See how that just worked?
Yeah, if we get a whole video from you, like fuck, you're gonna get hooked.
Maybe you could say your names.
Be good with it getting replayed on social media now. But yeah, all right. Oh, we gotta be careful what we wish for. We gotta be careful what we wish.
So hilarious.
What is it? Today's Thursday. Yeah, so
Today's Thursday. Yeah.
All right, this will be on next.
Is
Wednesday.
today the first?
No, fuck yeah, yeah, it is. Wednesdays, I get hernia surgery Tuesday.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna want to laugh Wednesday. I'm not gonna look at. I'm probably not gonna look at any social media on Wednesday.
That's such a good. It's such a good deterrent. It'll cut your screen time down.
Yeah, I ain't gonna look at shit because I know.
We may have just discovered ways to manipulate any kind of bad behavior. We may have stumbled into a whole behavioral thing now.
What do you mean?
Through laughter or not wanting to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, I think we can experiment with that.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not looking forward to this surgery because I don't know how long it takes to recoup from a fucking.
It's not supposed to be nice anyway. The older you get, anyway, right? The surgery. I remember that when I was very young.
And this is anyone that lifts weights or does heavy work, wear a belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this thing, mine was like the size of like a knuckle less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And now it's like a fucking size of like Quado on fucking Total Recall.
He was cool. Does it give you information too?
No, it just fucking hurts. It just fucking hurts.
It's too bad it wasn't like telling you things or singing you Charlie Boyd songs.
Yeah. And yeah, it's fucking gross. I can feel a turd move through it, dude. It's the fucking worst.
Yeah. Well,
that's TMI, right?
Well, no, I mean, it's also, I mean, it's, getting older, we're dealing with stuff that you never thought I never thought I'd be dealing with some of the stuff I'm dealing with now.
I can't believe I didn't get one earlier in life though, when I used to do dumber things. But anyway, that's lo and behold. But yeah, send them to me next Thursday. Give me a day to let these stitches heal up a little bit before I'm fucking laughing. I don't care. Just send them whenever. But what I will say is, that's what I mean. I love my fucking people that listen, because any contest we have, literally like I'll put it out. I'll get this not edited, but I'll get this like posted up to automatically come out on Wednesday,
right?
Next Wednesday.
Yeah.
By the time I wake up, some motherfuckers already have answered whatever the question was or whatever. Would
you say an exuberant crowd?
No, they're just fucking into it. It's fun.
That's rad.
Motherfuckers like that fun, right? That's what we do. And none of these contests are ever serious. They're all stupid.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like we've kept with that tradition.
Yeah, I think
time will tell.
We've reached a peak on a stupidity with this.
I like to think we could go further.
We'll go further. I said a peak. I didn't say the peak. I said a peak.
Right.
A new peak.
Important to differentiate.
Yeah, absolutely. But so we talked like obviously a lot about the record, but if you had to kind of sum it up, is there like a overarching like theme, or?
I don't know that that I would say that
concept
as a whole there is a theme. I can say, listening to it myself, I definitely hear a lot more hope than I did in previous records or something. An overall vibe. At the end of a listen, I I feel a little lighter than I would probably listening to the other stuff. And I really don't I don't go back and listen to old records once they're done. Really, it's just one of those things. It's done. I put it in the done compartment, and unless I'm trying to work on something particular aspect for a live show or whatever, it's very rare that I listen.
Sure, yeah, it's because you heard it 5,000 times when you were.
I mean, this time I'll do just because when it came out on iTunes, I wanted to hear how it sounded next to another thing that came up on iTunes, or compare it to some stuff. But
so, you happy with all that stuff, the mastering and all that?
it's great. Alan Douche at West Side, and that's really his name, I think. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's how it's spelled. But he's done the previous two, and he's a Grammy award-winning kind of mastering thing that Pete turned me onto after the first record. And he's another one of those guys that's just been very supportive over the years. He likes the stuff, and he's actually, I think he sent a picture of actually he got like one of the records on the wall or something from doing it, which is really cool for a guy that's doing that much stuff with that many renowned people to have a spot for something that I've done. I think that's great. He's awesome. I'm really happy with this. I said it in a few other things. I try and put my all into stuff, and I really think not to be like a pessimist or whatever, but I put enough into it that if this was the last thing I ever did, I think it's the best thing that I could, I'm happy the way it is. And
sure.
I can leave everything at the doorstep and kind of move on to something else, God willing,
So we're bringing it back a couple of steps here. Where do you think the optimism's coming from?
I mean, the only thing I can equate it to is I'm in a better place mentally, overall, now but I'm pretty open about, my substance abuse kind of stuff over the years, you know what I mean? Now I'm coming on like 7 years of this month will be 7 years of sobriety. So there's a clarity that has started to come unbeknownst to me,
Yeah.
So and I don't try and compartmentalize it. It is what it is. I just feel like I'm a little bit more lucid and coming from a better place, more comfortable in my own skin, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, and so obviously that's going to be reflected more in the stuff that you do.
I mean,
but in all facets, you
yeah, I would hope,
not just music. Right?
I would hope. I mean, that's the premise anyway. I'd be behind a lot of recovery methods anyways that lead by example kind of thing, and that's oftentimes people in that realm will say the best thing you can do is be yourself in the sobriety or whatever it is, and people will notice a change in your behavior.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's pretty, you've seen me at my worst. So I think it's fairly obvious. Not that I'm not saying that I wasn't fun or it was there certainly was good times about it, but I think overall, were you to think about where we are relationship wise, I'm much more trustworthy. I'm much more present. You know what I mean? For people that I love and care about. And that I hope that's reflective in the record too and everything,
Sure, man. Sure. And I always thought it was, I think it's fucking rad that you can be, sober and for as long as your history was with like alcohol and whatnot.
Yeah. And
then to go sober, but still be able to work in a bar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking, that's another level, dude.
It's great. It's great reminder.
It's a great reminder, but it's also like fucking. You're in fucking. You're in the fucking wolf's den.
It very rarely does it get into me like that. Usually it's happy fun and other. Really, I got to be careful about like taking other people's inventory or something. Like if somebody's diving into the paint a little hard, I got to be careful not to pour them an extra strong Jack Daniels just
to see what happens.
Hey, well, you wanted it.
All right. You want a shot? Oh, here's a double.
I got to really be careful about it. That's the only thing that I have to be careful about in the environment. Really, is just kind of being neutral.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, as far as being exposed to the stuff or anything. I think I spilled a bunch of whiskey on my hand the other day, and I was like, I sniffed it on my finger or something, and I like washed my hand, and I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't really count. It's like sniffing it on your finger does.
If it absorbs into my skin, that's a free pass, right?
Actually, I actually took a sip. I did like a little U.S. run and accidentally got a full-on sip out of a co-tourer's coffee cup or something, and then immediately realized it was like there was some coffee brandy or something in the cup or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had some other stuff going on I got pretty heated about that. I can remember being like, if it doesn't count, I called somebody anyway. It wasn't. I called another friend in sobriety and kind of talked myself off the ledge with it, instead of making the person leak.
So, you just were more for a mental health check, so you didn't smash someone. It wasn't.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't. It didn't.
No. I mean, I knew.
Feel like
I knew I wasn't gonna. I knew I wasn't gonna relapse as a result, because now it's been long enough that I did. There's not a desire. There really is. There's a. The compulsion has been kind of lifted now, as they say, kind of in the literature.
Yeah.
That's where it's not a real thing that I would want to dive into again.
Sure.
I did play that scenario out because it felt like to me that it was it was like being kind of played down, and I wanted to kind of explain the severity of like.
Oh, they didn't think it was like a foul.
Well, I mean, it was like the person was kind of trying to talk me off the shelf that was in the van with me, and I kind of took that as an affront because I was like, well, you maybe don't understand the level of what this means to me,
So were you a cheap date? Did you get hammered off that sip?
No, I spit it right. I mean, I spit it right. I knew as soon as I got it in my mouth, I knew. You know what I mean? But like. Actually, Pete did that to me.
So you're spitting on swallow it?
Pete, of course, absolutely. Fucking A. Sosa got me on the Flog and Molly cruise with the Street Dogs one year, and he didn't even realize because it was super hot when we were on the deck. And Shell and Christina and me and Pete were all kind of standing in near the bar area. It was crowded, and I was dying of thirst, so he just kind of handed me a clear-looking something.
Yeah.
And was having fun and didn't even think about it. And it was like a vodka soda. Oh. So like I took a sip and just spit it out all like.
Yeah.
And Shell was what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, it's fucking booze. Like, what do you think I'm doing?
Yeah. So is there like a balance? Like, I don't know how to explain this. Like when you've been sober as long as you have, and you're around it all the time, so it might not be as big of a temptation, but do you still have to keep yourself in check and not get too cocky about things? This is not for you, I'm just saying in general, because I can imagine like 7 years in, you're like, fucking, I got this.
Yeah.
But can it sneak up on you?
Oh, that's what everybody, what conventional thinking, I guess, has in it. You know what I mean? I don't know how much I buy of all that. I'm vigilant about it. I mean, I'm aware of it. I'm more so aware of the benefits that outweigh the benefits in my life that far exceed the other side of it.
Yeah.
And that's enough for me. I don't know that that's enough for everybody or what.
Yeah,
but there's some different methodologies between like traditional AA recovery and then that I do a little bit of this, like loosely do a little stuff based in refuge recovery, which is kind of more fundamental, kind of Buddhism beliefs kind of incorporated into it, which kind of alludes to you do have a certain level of control yourself, you know what I mean, as opposed to just a higher power kind of eliminating. So I've kind of float between the two, and that's what I do with my basic belief system in life anyway,
Sure.
Too much of anything, they say, is probably a bad thing. Balance is what it's all about, and the mental health aspect is about that, If I am living my life believing that I have no free will, what's the difference?
Or no power.
Right. Yeah. Where would the benefit of being sober be then, if that were the case, Yeah. For me, I'm not saying for everybody, but for me, that's where I feel comfortable with it,
Yeah. I mean, lack of accountability has gotten us in the world where we are right now. You know what I'm saying? Like personal accountability or professional accountability or whatever accountability, like, you know, it's like that can fuck shit up.
I mean, it fucks everything up, really. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's so easy in every aspect of the world now to just, to say something. Like, here's a good example recently in history. The guy that just drove into the Apple store in Hingham.
Yeah.
Right? So he's saying his foot got caught on the gas or whatever. Now, I'm not trying to throw anybody out there, okay? But this is a 65-year-old guy that had to be going about 45 miles an hour. If you've ever been to the Derby Street shops and seen where he was, there's a bunch of cars on the left that he could have crashed into. There's a whole bookstore on the right that he could have crashed into, and if he made a hard right, he would have been in a back parking lot and made it out to 3A and been in an embankment if he really thought it out. Yeah. Or he could have just stepped on the gas pedal with his left foot. Like, and he I don't know if I buy all of that. You know what I mean? There had to be, you throw it into park. I've been in a car rolling down a hill.
Yeah.
The old man that I used to work for him, it didn't really work. When he threw it into pocket, just ground, you know. Yeah. But he had time to make an attempt to do something, you know what I mean? And he wasn't playing. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Maybe the people at the Genius Bar shouldn't have been so douchey to him that morning.
I would guess that's probably
There's
more
accountability all around, right?
Yeah. Yo, no doubt. No,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, the truth is,
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
The truth is, like, there is, that's why, you know, like being a little cognizant and trying to be nice to somebody instead of returning kind. Even if somebody's a dickhead to me nowadays, I try to at least return like I try and be ambivalent and not return what's being sent at me like that, you know?
Yeah.
Which is real hard. I mean,
I know that's hard,
that'll fuck you up.
Dude, I know that's hard. I mean, here or at the tattoo shop or at the bar, not so much at the bar, it's only a week and a half, so it's nothing yet.
It'll crop up.
Oh, I know. I mean, I got good fucking decade in being a doorman and stuff. Whatever. Yeah, man. I mean, you try, especially in a professional context, someone comes in there being a fucking jerk off. You're trying to like show them the error of the ways or you know, like just be cool and be like, calm the situation down. And I have about like 3 strikes or like 30 seconds of that in me. And then after that, it's like, I mean, it's fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
I mean, you will.
And I wish I had longer because I see people with infinite patience and they can just smile. And
I think it would appear that way. Maybe the patience isn't as infinite because it's a practice.
That's what I mean. It's like I got to practice that more. Like, but that's what I mean. Like people that can deal with it. Like what I meant is more like I wish I had a longer duration of like trying to de-escalate the situation. Of course. Until I'm just like go from 0 to 100.
Well, I mean,
escalate it more.
Here's the thing about going 100. It certainly can de-escalate whatever is going on the quick too. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of me now sober. Conceptually, I'm trying to get my head around some other things and be a little more empathetic to situationally, to not think I know just because somebody's being a dickhead. Maybe they're having something that I don't know is bringing that out. You know what I mean? It's just trying to be a little tolerant. It's just a practice, and I'm bad at it, real bad at it. I mean, I got out of the car. I didn't tell you. I told Ryan. I got out of the car out near the house, couple right after the dog died or whatever, and I had a lot going on in my mind, and the kid got on my ass, kind of coming down out of nowhere, and then was braking and kind of play. So I pulled the fucking machete out of the fucking front seat and fucking started walking at dude, and if he took a couple steps onto the property, I probably would have taken an arm off or something, you know? And I didn't feel good about it afterwards. I had to kind of talk myself off the ledge, but given the situation, that's where it was, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, Lenny Smashley. It's gonna be
No, don't ever be that. Come on.
I can't wait till
Let's
I'm
be
somewhere
honest.
where
It's
you
never
blow.
going to be Lenny Smashley.
I just can't wait till I can use that in a situation where we're together. Watch out! You're gonna meet Lenny Smash.
Yeah. As long as it
Look at
isn't-
him. Look at his face getting red. He's gonna go.
Well, you'll probably be propagating the situation. I'm going to call you and make you laugh like a motherfucker on Wednesday
Oh,
now.
fuck you! I ain't taking no calls from you. I'm gonna look at if it takes me a day or two to read your message. Don't take offense. I'm fucking. I don't know. So like, it's weird, right? Like, and I'm not trying to make any. It's like you talk to some people and they're like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna be out for like 2 weeks,"
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
some people are like, "Yeah, give it a couple days, you'll be fine." You know what I mean?
Different people, different reactions. I mean, I remember getting a call from Pac when he had the snippy,
Yeah.
and like he's a tough bastard, and he called me and he was in such, that procedure was not supposed to be like that, how they described it. What he called me,
Well, I don't know. Anyone I know that got that procedure says it fucking.
well, and
blows.
then they were lying to him beforehand to try and make him feel better, you know?
Probably,
like
yeah.
I was on the way home from work. I was working with Boo down in
I heard the first day or two was fucking horrible.
I mean, I was working in Newport, and he called me from the parking, like he was in the parking lot. He's like, I'm in my car. I had to go pick him up and give him a ride. Like,
He couldn't drive. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he was, and that I was like, wow, man. He was, I think something's wrong.
Oh fuck.
I mean, eventually he felt better the next 2 days later or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think different folks, different ways. You'll be all right. You're gonna.
I don't think in any circumstance you're supposed to drive yourself home after a surgery. Though. Like,
I mean, that could be. That
too.
might have been a Packerism too, right there.
yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah. But fuck yeah, man. What else going on, man?
Nothing much, man. It's just kind of getting through the holidays and trying to be not get sucked into the whole family dysfunction thing and all of that. And it's like a weird time of year, you know. Like it's just the holidays kind of everybody. And I feel like coming out of this whole pandemic thing and politics being what it is, people are on this extra crazy level in this now, you know.
Everything's still weird and fucked up, right?
It sure is.
It's like all right, we come out of this pandemic and things still aren't back to normal.
Yeah.
And there's still places touting the fear, and there's still, and I'm not saying, whatever, don't take it whatever way, you know what I mean? And there's still bullshit going on, and fucking people aren't used to being out and about as much yet. It's creeping in where people are going out more and whatnot.
Yeah, but how they react, like at the aggro driving tendencies and all like that.
Yeah.
So
there's more motherfuckers on the road now though than there was pre-pandemic. Like traffic is way fucking worse. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah.
If everyone went out and bought cars that didn't have cars during the fucking
cars
thing.
that weren't available because of the chips or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm like, why is there way more people like now?
Well, there's more people.
And I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm pandemic supposed to wipe motherfuckers out. Like I'm like, why is there more people now than there was before? And did fucking mad motherfuckers just come of driving age in the last 3 years? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I know that one's whatever. All right, I don't care. But yeah. So long and short of it is, I get it. And now they're doing more stupid road work.
Yeah.
Than ever. And it's like road work that I don't understand. I'm like, there's just cranes on the side of the road scooping some unimaginable circle.
They're doing that at 140 and 24.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking
It's been
about.
going
I'm
for
like,
months.
what is that crane doing? It's like blocking a lane. They got to shut a lane down, and it's just like scooping air. Like these motherfuckers just out fucking
They're
around.
probably moving some nesting great regrets.
Yeah, fucking. I mean, there's been more bald eagles around. Maybe they're rehoming bald eagles. I don't know what the fuck they're doing out there. But yeah,
Misappropriating funds. If
it's
I
funny
had
that you
to
knew
guess.
exactly what I was talking about.
I've seen it
too.
every time I come from here. I see it. I'm like, they're still doing that?
Like these motherfuckers just wasting taxpayer dollars right there,
Misappropriating funds is how I liked it.
burning up the DPW budget so they can get more money next year.
Yep, that's how it works, bro.
But yeah, there's just a lot of weirdness in there. Everything's going up. So what I will say is from like an industry standpoint, I can get parts now that I couldn't get before.
Yeah.
I can get, things are more readily available, but everything is going up.
Yeah.
Even like all like just everyone's electricity, all that shit, like bullshit. Everything's up. Like,
well, not even to get conspiratorial about anything. The dialogue that we got from the people in charge at the beginning of this thing, right away when they deemed it this is the new normal, that should have been an indicator for people because they have a lot of people thinking about wording and stuff like that. So just the choice of words, I'm very aware of how something on that level has been dissected, and it's like an ad campaign team, like they're throwing ideas. There's a bunch of fucking goons in a fucking room throwing terms around, and they thought that one was going to be the one that sticks, the new normal, and now we're living like we're not even seeing the long-term effects of kids and people that that grew up in this now that are going to have some type of psychological it's remember the time? It's just like our grandparents saying, remember the Great Depression? We came through the Great Depression. I had to open a can of fucking beans with a fork.
Yeah, that shit's coming. If we don't turn shit around, man, I feel like that's really going to come again.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that's not trying to be doom and gloom. It's just trying to be reality, man. We can't sustain at this level. And if things keep going up and up, there's not going to be any more middle class.
Once
what was middle class collapses, that's it.
Yeah, and I think it's just interesting historically. You're a smart guy, right? So, like, I didn't realize.
Smart. I'm wicked smart.
Fucking super smart guy. Smart. I was watching, like, a pool thing, and it was a billiards thing, and a commentator, I forget, it must have been his hometown was in the commentator that was commentating on the match. He came from a hometown that was like the Museum for American War History or something was there or whatever. And he just said something. Oh, because they were dealing with people on chat rooms too. And a guy said something. They brought there was a guy from Germany or whatever, and he's like, well, you should be kissing Americans' asses because we whatever, or was something along those lines. And the commentator said, well, like if you've ever looked at how many lives were lost in World War II. So I just did the research. I saw it, and I'm like, okay, well, that sounds like an interesting thing to look up. And I got on this site that had all the numbers of the amounts of people, civilians, whatever, that were lost in that period of World War II.
Yeah.
It's like fucking 300 million lives or something were lost or something. It's crazy huge.
Yeah.
Countries that weren't even involved in the war, like China wasn't even really involved in the war, and they lost like 25 million people or something during World War II.
Like how, though? But that's the other thing. Now, and I'm not doubting anything, but statistics.
It was like
they can tell you what they want. You know what I mean?
But I mean, you look at, I don't know. I mean, I want to go down to conspiratorial theory.
I'm not going down to conspiratorial.
But myself, I'm saying.
Yeah.
But a third, by the stats that I read on that site, we're talking about pretty much a third of the population at the time on the planet.
Yeah. That's bananas, right?
So, like, that's a pretty good reset for everybody that's in control right there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good fucking reset.
That's a great reset right there.
That's a good reset. Then there's enough for everybody, and prices go down, and we can.
And there's rebuilding contract. See, the problem is that, like, things weren't as crazy corporatized as they are now. Now, there certainly was big corporations, but it wasn't as corporatized now. So, like, you don't think all these, like, small companies and middle-class companies would be getting, like, rebuilding contracts now. Like, it'd be like, no, it'd be, like, mega fucking developers and fucking all that shit.
I mean, look at just that, how that's changed. Like, Amazon owns every fucking thing.
I know.
They just own everything.
Yeah. And that happened over that 3 years.
That's great.
Because it's like everyone got so dependent on not going anywhere that everyone just, fuck that.
Now they just bought the land and they're growing the shit too.
Motherfuckers are just doing their groceries online. Like, every basic thing is just like, it's all convenience. But that convenience comes at a cost.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like that's why it's like, not to get on a thing here, but like, go to your local farm stands or like, farmers markets, like even cities have them. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying go out, drive out 3 hours into the country. I'm saying go to small shops, fucking, especially in this holiday season. Now more than ever, support small businesses, man.
Yeah,
Because
I
they ain't gonna be around if you don't. And
I mean, support yourself too. I would say, like, try and be a little self-sufficient. If you're not as dependent on that stuff, if you're not dependent so dependent on the machine, that's great. Going to Europe and all of that and seeing some of that still is, people with home gardens, like they have a little garden, they're growing their own tomatoes. So we had, my mom had to do that when we were kids just to get by, but people do that not out of necessity.
And even if you live in the city, they have that shit where you can do it in your house.
Yeah, of course.
Hydroponics.
Yeah.
Hydroponics just ain't for weed. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's the wave of the future, actually.
Yeah.
Now they're looking at that, at urban hydroponics is like a real legit kind of thing of sustaining sustaining all of us.
Yeah. And you know what? Control yourself a little. You don't need 4 kids. You don't work on a farm. You don't live on a farm anymore. Unless you live on a farm, then fucking have all the farm hands you want.
Exactly.
But you know what I mean? You live in the city, you don't need 6 kids. And I know some asshole's going to be like, you can't say that. Like, I'm not saying like in any specific case, but I'm just saying, think about it in general. Like, you know what I mean? Slow your roll on this fucking
think of what you can handle. Anyway, we don't do that financially in this country either,
But there's no more personal accountability. Everyone's feels like they're entitled to everything, and it's like some shit should fucking work for. You feel anything that's given to you is less respected or appreciated than anything you work for.
Of course, it has less value.
Just has less value. It's like, I don't know when we just got on this fucking
That was cool.
diatribe.
I was like, I got such an adrenaline charge. I think the fucking winter edition fucking Red Bull just kicked in.
Oh fuck yeah, dude. Which one? What's the winter edition? What's the flavor?
It's so fucking good. It's apple and fig. It's like
really?
Yeah, I texted Ty as soon as I saw one last night driving home from my mother's, and it was like 11 o'clock. I'm like, this isn't gonna. So I stopped and gassed up at the same gas station. I'm like, I know you got one of these fucking things.
See, I used to do that with Ty. We would have like a race to find new flavors of Bang energy drink.
Yeah.
They've slowed down though. Like I think they've reached their.
What we do with me and him do with the seasonals. Like I had the summer edition when I was like, I actually. This is how bad. If you ever wonder like what addiction is like, there's no way I could consume them. I just knew there was one Cumberland Farms in Hyannis near the job that I was doing that had like a bundle of them. So I like bought like $30 worth of fucking summer edition Red Bulls. They're all warm in my car.
But what's that have to do with addiction? I mean,
it didn't matter. Well, whatever. It didn't matter. I just coveted
taurine addiction.
I had to cover.
You had to cover them.
Yeah, I had to have. I don't even know if I just like the color of the cans or the taste of them or what it was.
Or you just, or were you doing it for the resale? Or were you giving one away with every gold vinyl? Every gold vinyl.
No, with every Charlie Boyd, every Charlie Boyd sing along.
Charlie Boyd's getting more run on this podcast than he's gotten in a long time, probably. I'm sure.
Number one played Spotify artist. I bet you. I'd like to see his stats.
Him, yeah. We just boosted him up a little bit because all these people are going to be searching it. Like fucking somewhere there's going to be like in this algorithm, and now he's going to be like lifted up and like suggested.
He's going to be like, I got all these New England listeners.
Yeah. Well, no, why are all these Norwegians listening to me?
I planted the seed in Burlington, Vermont, like 20 years ago, and now it's finally come to fruition.
No, but my best is let's get Charlie Boyd up far enough in the algorithm that now with this caveat that it's fucking horrible, but hysterically horrible.
Yeah.
So no one's co-signing any of the content of this stuff. It's just so ridiculous that it's horrible in the most precious of ways.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
I mean,
let's boost him up in the algorithm so he starts chatting in Spotify and gets like up in the algorithm. It gets like recommended so that it shows up randomly on like playlists and shit.
We'll be accountable for it, but we didn't write it. We discovered it and thought it was funny. So you can say whatever you want.
It got us through a long road trip. The hilarity of it, and it's also funny that something to put on in your shop when unsuspecting people
when me and Andy discovered that's
like your greatest find ever. Like,
I told Andy when we were listening to it, my only goal to be a success in the music industry or whatever was so that I could take Charlie Boyd on tour with me. he like offer him, just call him and be like, yeah, I got this little U.S. run lined up. There's a bus for you, a plane ticket, just show up.
Yeah. Hey, well, the thing is you can have him come do an acoustic set. I can't imagine his setup is what? It's got to be like some bullshit drum machine and like a...
I mean, he. I feel like he could do it anyway. It's really he leaves it open. He could come with a full Philharmonic if he wanted to.
Yeah. But I'm saying you could do this economically. You could do it right now. You could bring him to Europe with you next time.
I bet you it's not as easy. It probably wouldn't be easy.
I don't know if he can lead the country.
Well, that was the other theory. Eventually, the other theory down the road.
You might have to do a Canadian.
The other theory down the road was that he was allowed access in a place where he was being held to like create.
Yeah, we don't know. If anyone knows the whole story,
send us some history.
Send us some history. Because I doubt there's a Wikipedia on him, but there might be.
There was some information on Spotify. Like there was a lot of information on Spotify about him or whatever.
Really?
That kind of went into biographical kind of.
Oh, really? I have to look that up. I think on that note, that might be a high note to end on.
All right. Yeah, Charlie.
But seriously, where can people find out more information? Where can people get the new record?
So still at MIA, they have two variants, I think, still, the Coke Bottle Clear and the Black. And then
I like Coke Bottle Clear.
Nice, right?
Because it does look exactly like
it's rad.
It's like clear with like that little greenish.
And that little Japanese, it really popped. I think it come out really cool.
What was that? When you say
there's a little kanji that I have in the center mark that kind of really. That was another. I'm not going to use the painter guy's thing, but it was a little accent. It was another thing that came out like when they printed it on the label. It was much larger than I envisioned. I envisioned it being a little smaller, and now looking at it, it's so cool the way it came out.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
But then Revelation also has a variant. They have like a gold-ish hue variant that only Revelation has. Is the distro?
Does Cortex have one?
Cortex also has a. I don't know how I think it was a limited. It was 100 anyway.
So it's probably gone.
Oxblood. I think they still had some, but I mean they do that weekly chart thing, and it had made it to a spot where it was looking like it was moving something anyway. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like if you're a collector, it's even worth reaching out to them. Those people over there are so great at Cortex.
Yeah, and if you do collect and you're going to order a record from Cortex because you're in Germany, I've ordered stuff from them before and it's awesome. It comes quick. It doesn't. It feels like you're ordering something from the States. It isn't.
Right.
They're you can go to their whole website in English.
Get yourself a couple beanies too, because they got some really good. All the stuff they have is where if you get them, you might as well get a couple things from them.
Yeah, yeah.
And they'll send them all in one package, you know?
Absolutely. So over at Omerta Mia, use the promo code Big Truth at checkout. You might get 20% off the vinyl.
It's a possibility. Maybe I'll try that.
Because it's like when you buy all the Coke bottle colors.
when I go on another spree.
Yeah, when you go on a spree. But yeah, and check them out. And Instagram is just at Lenny Lashley, right?
Lenny Lashley something / yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
It'll be in the show notes. We'll do the. It's weird because it's like it's almost now like I don't know people's Instagram names anymore. I know it if I see it or look at it, but I can't tell you.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that in person with people. Like I'm calling them their Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Muggy?
Yeah. But
Muggy 33.
Yeah. Fuck. But yeah, man, and I'll put all the information in the show notes. You got a website?
I got a Bandzoogle thing that's going too. Yeah, I can send it to you.
Send it to me. I'll put all that in the show
It looks better than it operates, I guess, but I had to try and do something. I kind of put it all together on a template myself.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. So this is a DIY, right?
It is.
All right, man. Well, fuck yeah.